And it is Lunar and Chinese New Year in a few days. So here to celebrate it with a beautiful family recipe is Chef Nick Liu. Thanks for joining us, Chef.
Thank you.
Tell us about this dish and when you would eat it and what it's all about.
So this dish is called Buddha's Delight, and it's something that my grandmother used to make every Chinese New Year or Lunar New Year. It's usually served the day of New Year because New Year's Eve you're drinking and celebrating and eating all these rich foods.
Yeah.
So this is to cleanse the body. There's a lot of really cool ingredients here, things that you would usually kind of typically use just Chinese New Year.
Yes.
Like we have this fat choy.
Okay, so take a look at this because I haven't seen anything like it. Like, what is it? What would you describe that as?
So this is a moss, right?
Okay.
It's a land moss, not a sea moss. So you would have to rehydrate it. It's dried.
Yes.
And it has a lot of antioxidants and vitamins and detoxifying qualities to it. So
does it taste yummy?
It doesn't really taste like much. I
heard an there.
I have some rehydrated stuff here, and it has sort of like a seaweed type aroma.
It's a little, it's fishy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But doesn't really taste much.
But it's good for you.
It is good for you.
Okay. All right. So we're going to taste that, or we're going to have that in the recipe to add to the goodness because you had a good party last night. So we have this. What else do we have that we might not recognize
So
here?
we have some tofu skins. These are a dried product as well. So when you do make this this recipe, you want to be prepared. You want to rehydrate all your stuff a couple hours before or the night before.
Okay.
And then you're just kind of ready. Everything goes into a pan, and you just kind of go. Something other interesting is this lettuce stem, also called sultus, right?
Sultus.
And these are really beautiful, kind of like the color of jade.
Oh, so when you cut them up, they're like this? What would you liken this to? Like, what is this like?
So it has a nice kind of fresh green flavor.
Yeah.
But also has this sort of that same texture as like water chestnut.
Yes.
And typically this dish would have water chestnut, but I'm just replacing it with something kind of interesting and fresh and crunchy.
Very nice.
Yes.
Okay, so I had asked you earlier, why get all of the dry things and rehydrate them? And you said, this is how my grandma did it. I'm doing it the way my grandma did it.
Usually I like to kind of modify things and change things a little bit at the restaurant, not die low. But this one, we're just going to keep grandma style, right? This is very traditional.
We've got a picture of your grandma and your grandpa because that's where the recipe comes from. And I like the fact that you're keeping it. You're keeping to tradition. Look at how beautiful that is. So, and here's the whole family together. Was this around Chinese New Year?
Yeah,
do you think?
This would be around Chinese New Year.
So nice.
You know, once the family gets together, you know, I mean, you do you do like the brothers, you do all the ladies on the side, and every single different combination of photos you can do. This one was of
everybody all together, and the little guy in the photo is Chef, which is so cute. Okay, so we are going to make the Buddha's Delight. How do we start?
All right, so we're going to start by making the sauce. This is a really easy recipe to do. I've got some soy here.
Nice.
I'm just going to put it in a bowl. I've got some sweet soy, which is this stuff here.
Okay.
And this is salty and sweet and thick, and really gives a beautiful flavor. I've got some cornstarch, which we're just going to throw in there.
Thicken it up.
Thicken it up. And we're going to use the mushroom stock water, right? So we've taken our dried mushrooms, hydrated them, and that flavored water is so delicious. So we're just going to use maybe about, I don't know, a quarter cup or a cup.
How long are you hydrating everything for? Like, can you do this right before you do the recipe, or is this an overnighter?
This is something that you want to do maybe at least an hour before.
An hour before, okay.
And we got our pan nice and hot. We're just going to boost that up.
Beautiful.
And we're going to get some oil. So I've got some sesame oil. I'm going to throw some of that in my sauce as well, just because it's good.
Nice. Well, it's got a very distinct flavor. Sesame oil, and I love it.
Yeah, it's nice and nutty.
I can't get enough of it. It's nutty, and it's just, good things are about to happen.
Okay, so we're going to start with our AG, right? Our Asian Gare, which is the foundation of all of our flavors. It's ginger, garlic, and green onion.
Beautiful.
We're just going to throw that in there.
Finely chopped.
Finely chopped, as fine as you can go. And you just want to kind of let that oil, infuse. So you want to do that for about 10 seconds. And what we have is...
I know we spent a lot of time talking about all the ingredients, but they just gave me the 2-minute sign. Yeah. How are you feeling about 2 minutes?
I feel great.
Oh, you can do this. So we got what, cabbage
So
there?
we got our Napa cabbage and our saltis, right? We're gonna saute that off.
That's right, he's a pro, he's got this.
A little bit of salt.
Nice.
Once we got those things kind of going, I got my mushrooms, which I've sliced. Nice. These are puffed tofu, which are really great.
Those are what I love.
These are kind of like sponges that just suck up all the flavor.
Do you have to cook them, or can they be eaten like this?
You want to heat them up.
You want to heat them up.
I mean, the whole purpose of them is, that it sucks up the sauce.
Got it.
Right?
Okay.
And we're just going to toss that up, right?
Beautiful.
We usually want to brown that off a little bit, but we want to have some time to put our noodles in here. Right. You just want to cut it with scissors. This is how my grandmother would do it.
Okay, good.
Right? She likes to cook with scissors and not many knives.
Yeah. What kind of noodles are those?
These are bean thread noodles. And we're just going to throw those in.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw some mushrooms in here too, just because I like them.
Nice.
They look beautiful.
Well, they're so good for you as well.
And we've got our fat choy.
Yes.
Right? Our Chinese New Year moss.
Okay, antioxidants, get them in there.
Toss, toss, toss.
Beautiful.
And the finish, right? Mix up our sauce, throw that in there.
Nice.
And that's going to thicken up with that moss. Actually does a good job of thickening things up.
And that's Flavor Town right there, that sauce
Flavor
you
Town.
made, right?
Yeah.
A little bit of salty, a little bit of sweet all together. Nice.
And that is beautiful. So that's going to go onto the pan.
Just take a look at this plate, too. It's gorgeous. Like, since we're doing tradition, like, isn't that lovely?
Yeah, I think I may have stole that from my grandmother.
Okay, well, that's okay. I'm sure she doesn't mind since we're doing her recipe. We're putting this recipe online as well for you, cityline.tv. Chef Nick Liu, thank you for giving us a little Chinese New Year.